He's doing people, he's alright. Now he's setting to you. Sorry, people, we'll ease it in a wee sec. Just looking for something here. So, welcome to the Costa del Shed. Fuck me, man, it's fucking melting. Right. So, we're going to talk about a wee unplanned one tonight. A couple of wee things that I wanted to talk about, try and clear up. Right down here, Right, okay. So, usual before I even get into what I'm going to speak about. Flat Earth, for anybody who's coming to it, it's simple, you know. There's people that have been on a longer journey than others, you know. The one thing that we have to realise and come together on is that, you know, we have to be intellectually honest with ourselves and admit what we know and what we don't. You know, and I'm talking about internal states of mind. You know, people have to rein in from appealing to external sources. You know, one of the titles on this is Anarchy. And this is what my whole stance has been about empowering an individual representing themselves and being fully empowered. And fully empowered doesn't mean that you go and demand that from some external source. It means to understand yourself. Understand the traps that you're subject to, that you subject yourself to, the pitfalls of being a human being, and what you can get caught up in. So first and foremost for people, you know, I encourage that stance. Now, for flat earth as a term, for me as an individual, means, you know, what I define it as, know what other people define it as. So the stance here is that, you know, I believed I lived on a globe for the majority of my life. That is part of the, you know, the mental illness, if you like, that I was part of. And then I had a look at it, tried to prove it to myself, and found, you know, pretty much straight away that there was obvious contradictions, things that I had always known that told me that it was impossible for me to live on a globe. But, you know, like everybody else, you're swept up by peer pressure, you know, family, society, school, you know, your social circles, media, and you just think that that's the way it is. It's a globe. You know, everybody knows it's a fucking globe. And you suspend your doubts, you suspend your intuition, your knowing, your direct experience, because we're born into a culture of TV and media, and you're seeing it continually being bombarded into you. You know, this image of a globe. So, you know, it becomes deep-rooted in you, and you don't ever think to question it until maybe you hear other people are questioning it, and that's enough to think, mate, you go, right, I'm going to go and have a look at this. But that's it, you know, being aware of a topic is enough. That avenue of activism is great, making people aware that there's a question, fine. Well, then comes the role of the individual. All righty, thank you very much. Already did that.
You're welcome.
Well, then comes the role of the individual to start being honest with themselves, and to start discerning what's true and what's not true. So if you apply that and you look at it, you will find that the globe is haunting, very much so, to the point of absurdity. It really is absurd. It's a cartoon. It's a cult created by the same religious establishments that have always been dominating the show. And that's purely what it is. So you take that stance, take that approach, you know, be a direct realist. This, when it comes down to it, this is the crux of science in regards to relations with each other. The science as a term is exploration. That's what it means. It's a word that denotes exploration of reality so that I can understand my reality, how things work, the physical nature of the world that I find myself in. So when we start pursuing those avenues, you know, we make discoveries. We make discoveries that we can use and apply that can help us in our daily living. When it comes to making discoveries or professed discoveries and we claim it to each other, this is where it comes right down to. It comes down to practical demonstration. It comes down to a person making a claim about the same objective reality that we share and then bringing forth practical demonstration to show us. Now that's what we require between each other as individuals in order to establish what we know to be true and what we know to be false. So when you go to the globe and you apply that doesn't have any practical application, there is no practical demonstrations for any of its claims, the substances in reality are telling you beyond any shadow of a doubt that the earth is level. Okay? You are even attuned to the level earth. You have an internal gyroscope. You know every direction from the level, up, down, left, right, and every other possible direction, all from the level. Okay? So, just to sum that up for anybody new and anybody wondering what the stance is here, the globe's pish. Okay? It's utter crap. I know beyond any shadow of doubt the earth must be level. It's filled with water. Okay? It's as simple as that. Water does not have the ability to conform to the exterior of any shape. It does not support shear stress. Okay? So the next step after that, you know, what's being pushed, part of the propaganda is to push straw man maps and models, cartoons of what flat earth means, and people are jumping on it and adopting these things. The reason people do that is because they need a security blanket. They have been born into this culture of all knowing, all wise, we know everything. There's nothing left for us to know. Right? It's preposterous. As a real human being, you know, the enormity of this, you should have learned never to assume and take anything for granted. So the next logical, rational, reasonable, honest step for you to take is you do not know the full dimensions. It's impossible for you or any other person on their own to establish the full dimensions of this earth. Okay? We require full exploration. There's a process before we would even get to that because it has to happen en masse. Right? No other avenues to go, no other substitutes. That's it. So there is no flat earth model. The model is we were born into a cult. The next step is we have to establish what it actually is. No, come forward with replacements, with other ideas. That's it. That's what I represent. That's what I've always represented, and I will continue to represent. Because I'm a real person that understands the enormity of this situation. I've always questioned life, my relationship with life, why I'm here, how it came to be, what's the purpose of it, if any. So it's huge. This is the foundation of any forward thinking in regards to who you are, why you're here, how you came to be. You must have that foundation. Okay, so that's the next step. And I'm very serious about that because, again, you have to commit to this. You have to understand what you've actually been born into, what this actually is. So, you know, we have to establish where we are before we start making any decisions about how it would be to live a better way of life or have a better society or whatever your subjective wishes and desires are. If people have subjective wishes and desires to, you know, have a piece of land here or have a better society, that's fine. But you have to understand that it's based on nothing. It's still an idea because you don't know where you are. Until the foundation has been established, you can't go forward with any of these concepts or ideas. They're not going to be rooted in anything intrinsically true, objectively true. Okay? So, that's it. No bullshit. It's a globe that has the burden of proof. Doesn't matter. Oh, the scientific community and millions of people known it for 2,000 years. Their appeals to authority, they are fallacious reasoning, fallacious thinking. They don't count when it comes to being real. Okay? They count when it comes to ideas and other concepts that you can argue and do battle with other delusional, ideological dipshits. So, as I say, I'm going to go on to anarchy, because that's been my whole stance, and what I've always been pushing. Because for me, it's hugely relevant, it's hugely important that we understand how this came about. How does the human being end up gullible in a position of manipulation and being lied to on a mass level, right? And populaces of people being lied to. We have to understand, the workings of that, the human mind, how it came to be. So for me, everybody that knows me, I've always pushed that. It's about, this is for me, the deeper aspects of this. It's fine, understand you've been lied to about the earth, and understand the language and the sophistry and how their argumentation works and what a real measurable scientific proof is. That's all fine and done. I'm beyond that. But other subtle parts of what I've always been talking about is empowering an individual. The true meaning of anarchy. Okay? And that's where we have to get to. Where an individual is discerning for themselves without, reaching out and being influenced by other external sources. So before I get to anarchy, that's the point, that's the difference. This whole, I'm going to touch on this later on about this, division of activism, where people don't really understand where you've been coming from and what it is you're actually trying to say to them. So we'll get to this. Again, activism for me was never about, me establishing myself as some sort of leader or group figure that was going to get people in groups and masses and get out into the streets. That's never what it was about for me. The reason I went out into the street and done activism was a demonstration of how it can be done, how you can line up a talk with strangers in the street and how the interaction goes, and so that it instills in people the confidence and give them some material to use when they want to engage with other people. It was never about, promoting the idea of groupthink, group ideology, and going on mass into the street, which is fine if that's what people want to do. I disagree with it, and I'm always going to be upfront and spoken about that, because there's too much dysfunction, amongst people, and groups bring a dynamic that can bring, serious issues and problems to people. So I'll probably touch on these as I ramble on. So my stance on activism was, I want to demonstrate a method of speaking. I want to go to universities and engage, get the word being spoken about through universities, in the hope that other people would view that and take, tools that they require from it, empower themselves so that then they can go and engage, right? That's why I pull back from the repetition, because repeating the same thing over again is no productive, it's no progressive. It's just, for entertainment reasons, to scratch my ego, to keep my likes and subscribers coming, to get my views on YouTube. That would have to be your incentive. Where my incentive and my intent was never that. My intent, as I say, was to lay out how the argumentation works and how you could present it to strangers in the street, being indirect, using what was later termed the Socratic method. So that was it. And that's what I've always pursued, and that's the stance I will always take. Okay? Again, activism, is about empowering each individual with the tools they require so they can stand on their own 2 feet and properly articulate every aspect and every angle that may come. That way you have more of a chance of making an impact. You also have to be discerning in regards to each individual you're engaging with, their body language, the type of person they are, the angles are going to come at. You have to be a bit equipped. It would, it's going to do an injustice if you go about trying to be an activist when you're ill-equipped to do so. Now, that's not coming, it's me speaking from an elitist point of view. It's just a real point of view. Because again, you know, my intent is to really find out where I am. So I'm always thinking, you know, how do we whittle things down to the most potent points, the most truest angles to becoming it, right? No a pissing contest for me to be, oh, the main activism guy, and I'm jealous and I want to shut down everybody else that does it. It's total fucking bullshit. This is just part of the games that are being played, again, which I will touch on. You know, these people who try and sow seeds of doubt and play people off against each other. We'll get to all this. But, you know, I'm saying this because anarchy ties into this, right? This is what I'm talking about. So, when I say anarchy, you know, I'm sure there is people that understand. You know, again, I'm going to define what I mean by anarchy. I'm not going to go to some external source and hope everybody, you know, gathers to that. You know, let's start defining what we mean as individuals. Start practicing that. You know, stop going to reference points of language, you know, and using these things. Speak to each other as individuals. Slow your conversations down. Define your terms, define the words that you're talking about from your point of view. Not a preconceived idea that came from some external authority that dictated and told you the meaning of a word or words, right? So when I say anarchy to people, you know, a lot of the people that I've experienced, I'll ask them when I say anarchy, what's the image you get in your mind? And they will say riots, murder, rape, theft, cars on fire, cars overturned in the street, police wagons being bounced upon, shops being looted. That's criminal behaviour. That's mentally ill, unstable behaviour. Anarchy, for me, simply means that I am the power of me. I am the ruler of me. There is no external ruling source over me. Right? People have to really get that into themselves. So it doesn't matter, you know, if people are bowing to an authority like a government, or a family member, a father figure, a mother, a brother, a sister, a god. The idea of bowing or conforming to anybody else's will or authority is disempowering to each individual, right? And that extends to metaphysical ideas of gods, right? This is why I have an issue with people that bring these metaphysical ideas of creators and gods to me, because I've said it so many times. What you have to ask yourself, what God would be worth, you know, even the slightest bit of your attention? It would have to be, for me, and I hope that people would get this and start to think about it. You know, any God to me that would be worth its weight in gold would want equals. That's it. Anything else, when you start involving a hierarchy, you know, you're asking for trouble. You're disempowering yourself. You're committing yourself to be subservient to some, you know, ladder hierarchy of authority. So even these people who think they're spiritual and religious and love their creators and all these things, think about what you're contributing to. Think about what you're doing to your own psyche, right? You're disempowering yourself. If there is an overseer, one creator, I've said it so many times before, the only thing that I'm going to get on board with is that it wants an equal or equals. That's what anarchy is. Every single sentience is on an equal plane, right? None above the other. So we then have to, in a will in future, you know, get right into the nitty-gritties of life and what we take for granted, and all these ideas and concepts that we assume are just intrinsic parts of life, and they're no intrinsic parts of life. They've been imposed on you. They've been offered to you, concepts and ideas, relationships, careers, the whole lot. right? So we have to think about, how do we get people to that point? How do we get people to be true anarchists? Because for me, that's, if we're talking, again, you know, I'm speaking about this in regards to, you know, if this is the only area we have, and we have to live together, you know, for me, I would have to be looking at a system of anarchy. That's the only thing for me that I could ever get on board with. And that extends from the physical reality that I know into conceptual, metaphysical ideas of creation. If it doesn't meet that criteria for me, there's a real issue with it. And anybody feel free to come and have a discussion with me, because these ideas that people have about creators and overseers, they're disempowering. And I'm open to the conversation with people. So here's the thing, I'm going to open for anybody through invitation if they want to come on tonight. You need to send me an email to abchao77@gmail.com. So that's abchao77@gmail.com. Send me an email there and I'll check you. I've had a couple of messages on the phone that I'm going to get to near the end. Some people who have messaged that said they would like to come on, so I'm going to shout them out. And again, that will apply to them. You have to send me an email to that email address I gave. Okay. And this Abchao, before, you know, the fucking players start with their bullshit, I'm the same as a lot of people came through the truth community, right? Seeing all these things, the symbolism, the Freemasons, the blah, 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 blah. You know, I took the name Abchao because it means out of or from chaos. Okay, so I've got that as the title before my name, because that's what I consider myself as, coming from chaos. Right, that's what it means, Abchao. Okay, so you need to send me an email to that if you want to come on tonight, or if you want to come on Saturday night. So I'll read out the comments that I had on the phone from these people. Right, you know, the crux of anarchy for me is that subservience to any external authority is detrimental to you. You're asking for trouble. You know, anarchy in the word and the term has been loaded the same as a flat earth thing, and it's been hijacked and it's been misrepresented deliberately, as far as I'm concerned, through the media yet again, and saturated and attached to things that don't mean what it means to me, right? So through the 60s and 70s, anarchy was tarnished and thrown in there with punk culture and disruptive, unruly behaviour. That's the other aspect of true anarchy. It doesn't mean without rules. It just means no rulers, right? We're all equal, right? But for me, you know, and we can have the discussion and the debate about morality, but there is a moral code that I like to abide by, and it simply means just don't fuck with me, right? And I'm not going to fuck with you. For me, that's like a golden rule, universal rule, law, whatever people want to term it as. Right? And we can discuss it and get into the nitty gritties of that. I'm not just going to get through the whole lot here right now. I'm just going to make my stance clear, you know, and then open up to that discussion. So it doesn't mean no rules. People really need to grasp that, right? It means no rulers. It's a state of mind, right? It's not an external thing that you can go and grab. It doesn't belong to some institution or organisation. It's a state of mind. That's what anarchy is. That's where the fuck you attitude that I show comes from, right? Because, you know, that's how I recognise players and manipulators, because I can feel it when they're playing games that are encroaching on, you know, my free will, that are trying to oppress and subdue and manipulate, right? That's when the true anarchist has to stand up and say, get to fuck, right? So I'm always going to encourage that. Aggression towards oppression or somebody trying to impose on your free will is not a negative thing. It's required. Sooner people get that, the better. Never mind this snowflake political correct, you know, weepy, weak fucking pish that they've tried to create that we see today. We need to get rid of that. That's not going to do us any favours whatsoever. Right, so I've touched on that, you know, looking at my scribbles here. Any ruler or god that wants anything but equal is not to be trusted. I just wrote that down. I've said that. That's it for me. And that extends to men, women, whatever. Sentience. Okay? And again, I've scribbled that down. Morality. We can discuss all these things. And again, it comes right down to it. This is a scary aspect for people. As far as I'm aware, there is no intrinsic rules or laws, right? Even, me saying anarchy and my stance, I can only speak for myself. But that doesn't mean to say that, my description and my preference of anarchy, is the whole law or the whole rule that's rooted in objective fact and truth. We still haven't established that yet. I can only speak for me. This is how I'm speaking right now, from my subjective point of view, right? But I tell you what, it's a far healthier state of mind for people to be in than the bullshit that we have. So, if anything, it's a starting point for getting us out of this fucking mess that we're in, is to be a true anarchist, as I've just explained it, and apply direct realism, okay? And for me, that'll get us out of the shit. That'll eradicate the players. It'll show them up, at least. Then we can identify them. So, going back to this activism thing, because people need to be aware. I've always spoke about this. There's real games being played. There seems to be real issues with people like me who are outspoken that refuse to be coerced into any group think or can conform to anybody's ideas. And again, even these people who are opposed to me, they still have the right to be them and express what they want. This is the whole point, and I've always said this. Everybody has the right to set their stall out. Okay? What you have to be aware of is the subtle, manipulative group games that go on, and for whatever agenda they're trying to achieve. And that's what's happening on a big scale right now with this whole flat earth thing. It's like it's been set up as a new market. It's been set up as a new market with a transition of keeping the same mindsets, as we move forward into this new market flat earth paradigm, right? And that's what we're seeing. I see people talking about, opportunities and trying to position themselves as some sort of leaders and authorities within a group think dynamic, and we're the forefront of activists and this is how it should be and blah 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 blah. And look at us with our trophy photographs, and for me it takes away the whole point of what I started as. And again, I'm going to keep saying it, they're entitled to it, but I'm still entitled to speak my mind. I'm still entitled to see how I see it and where I'm coming from. Now, they can take that as an attack on them, as they keep professing. People keep professing personal attacks. Never in any of this have I got personal with any of these people. Okay? I try and remain objective and make clear my point of view. Okay? So I disagree with dysfunctional people gathering groups, and pulling people in, people who I think would be, psychologically and emotionally unstable and weak and in a vulnerable position, but being, hoodwinked by this, group dynamic and this group ideology of spiritual unity and oneness and all these fluffy terms and phrases. Okay, that's never what it was about for me. I was never setting myself up to be a leader of a movement. That's bullshit. My intention, it was only to offer tools to people, was to get out there, and establish a method of interaction. That was it. That was done. That's why I don't keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. Right? But again, activism, making leaflets, making people aware of the topic, fantastic. Always encourage it. There comes an issue when I see groups being formed, and I'm always going to be outspoken about that, because for me, groups bring problems. Groups bring dynamics, pressures, peer pressure, people behaving in ways they wouldn't normally behave, people being, you know, influenced in different ways that they would never usually be influenced if they stood on their own 2 feet. Okay? So I have an issue with groups, especially when groups have mantras and buzzwords, you know, and say things like, we're going to out-organise the organisers, we're going to overthrow governments, and they start speaking in a militant fashion. I'm going to be outspoken against that, and I'm going to question it, which I've always done. And when you ask these questions and you're met with ridicule and constant vitriol and abuse, you should have a real alarm bells ringing as to what these people are actually up to. They're either confused and think they're well-meaning but contributing to something that's detrimental, or it's deliberate. That's the options, right? So through me expressing that, which is not based in ego, it's based in the stance I've always had, you know, and looking at it honestly and openly, objectively, and raising my concerns, I'm constantly seeing increasingly these attacks on my character, right? Now, again, I have to point people towards the facts that my character is irrelevant. Who I am as a person in my private life is totally irrelevant. Who I am as a persona is irrelevant. This is the point. You ask why these people are playing people off against each other, because they think the gullible onlookers are being influenced. And I'm sitting here trying to say, look, let them play these games about celebrities and idols and trying to bring characters down and raise other characters up, because they're plenty fallacious thinking. People shouldn't be interested in characters or who their idol is or their representative on a public level. That's not what this is about. This is about instilling empowerment to each individual so they stand on their own 2 feet. That way we eradicate hierarchy, we eradicate manipulation, we eradicate groupthink ideology and peer pressures. We eradicate all that by empowering individuals and being true anarchists. You know? So I'm not going to keep playing up to their games. I can see what they're up to. All right, boy? Yeah. What are you going to dig for? Do you know what some people would say? See the people that say we live on a ball? See if you keep digging far enough, you're going to end up in Australia. They try and tell you that there's people right through the ground, standing upside down. That's daft, isn't it? Isn't it? It's laughing. It's like one of the globe mental gymnastic experiments. What if I dug a hole 5,000 miles deep and jumped in? What would happen? I'll get the wee man to start the project, you know. See if we can get 5,000 miles by the end of the year, right? And we'll jump in, see what happens. So anyway, there's real games being played. As I say, for me, this was a release, and it's a release with an agenda to take us somewhere, and that somewhere I don't want to be. I want us to break it, and I want to find out exactly where I fucking am and what's been going on. Okay, no bullshit, no substitutes, no fluff. Right to the nitty fucking gritty, and that's the problem with truthers and woke people. How far are they really willing to go? Do they really want the ultimate truths? Or is it what I'm seeing? It's a new market, it's a new trend, it's the opportunity for me to establish myself as a celebrity. Look at me, I'm a hero, I'm a forerunner, taking the human race and getting it into the street and making a difference. Yay, bravo for me, pat in the back. There's nothing in that for me, it's empty, it means fuck all. Understanding, real knowledge, knowing is what's useful to me. That's the real value that I seek. All the rest of it's empty fucking pish. You know, if I was a 19, 20-year-old guy, maybe even getting into my mid-20s, maybe I would be susceptible to that. Maybe I would get swept up with it. Right? But I'm way beyond that. None of the trappings of materialism and the shiny, you know, they don't, you know, tickle me in any way, shape or form. I'm a sentient being. I've always been questioning why I'm here, what the fuck this place is. That's more important to me. These questions have never left. Chasing ideas have came and gone. You know, distractions, delusions, they've came and went. These fundamental questions have never left. They have always been running in the backdrop. It's these questions that have always pulled me back from going too far into, you know, ideas and delusions, concepts. So we're now seeing, you know, people trying to portray me or the message that, you know, I'm discouraging activism, that I'm discouraging people from being social with each other. That's not what I'm saying. You know, people, you know, be active, be empowered in your activism, be very careful of getting involved in groups and groupthink, especially when they have mantras and, you know, a subtle hierarchy, right? Be very, very fucking careful of that, right? Go about yourself privately, be an activist, make your leaflets, make people aware of the question. That's as far as you can pretty much take it. The rest is up to them. So I'm not a saviour. My intention was never to convert and save people. I don't have a messiah complex. You know, I see beyond that. I see the ego taking over with these aspects, right? I'm not a converter. I'm not a fucking saviour. I'm just me. And I said it at the very beginning, that what's going to increase my chances of finding out where I am is empowering other people around me and properly empowered. No, still, you know, what's the word? Suffering from the effects of the previous paradigm and bringing that forward with them. No, 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 no. That has to be eradicated. My chances are going to be increased if people are properly empowered. Now, that's not going to happen if I start having messiah complexes and start, you know, invoking hierarchy and playing into hierarchical fucking games, is it? So I see these people and I see the games that they're fucking playing, and I know there's others that are smart enough to see it. And once people start to get discernment and they start to become, you know, settled in their own mind and they understand these games, you will start to see it as clear as fucking day, right? How things have always been coerced and co-opted and infiltrated movements and whatever, right? It's always been the same method, right? And it's always people professing nicey, spiritual oneness and love and love and love and all that and understanding. But yet, as soon as they come up against a man that asks questions they don't like, it's, yeah, fucking yeah. And making hit piece videos and Facebook posts. Yeah, go to my content, go to my Facebook and go to here. There's no hit pieces on any, you know, persons. None whatsoever. So that speaks a hell of a fucking lot. That's what people need to start looking at. Hang on now, we're looking for objective truths. We're looking to empower people, right? No play fucking manipulative games amongst each other and play each other off and score points and try to be the best and win. Win what? These people are full of delusions. They operate from ego. They operate from self-service, although they profess and outwardly project that it's something else. I'm clever enough to see through it. I'm sure there's many other people that can see right fucking through it. So, I mean, for example, you know, some of this kumbaya, lovey-dovey activist crew who, you know, make it that they're nice are now resorting to things like this. You know, Dale, you said in one of your videos there shouldn't be any law apart from if anyone gets in the way of your free will, you should be able to deal with it however you feels fit. Sounds a bit noncy to me. Now, here is somebody again, you know, subtly, you know, putting these things in here while they subtly do it in other places about me being a bully, intimidating, you know, all these ridiculous things because I'm a guy on a fucking screen. They're new, you know, invoking things like nonce, a word in the UK that's used to describe a paedophile. Right? And this is coming from a wee guy called Tom Wilkinson. This is a wee guy called Tom Wilkinson, who is part of these lovey-dovey activist type people. I'm just going to show you. It's there. So divide and conquer tactics playing out nicely from all angles. We got Satanist Dell plastered in the Masons' favourite symbols, encouraging people to look into Satanism. Then he has the cheek to call us cult members, right? So here we go again with this Satanism thing. Now, when I talked about Satanism, like everybody else, I had heard these terms being thrown about, and it was pretty much propaganda and fear tactics. What I had to do was to overcome my own internal fears and go and actually look at some of this material. Then I have a better understanding of what it is I'm dealing with, rather than just listening to hearsay and propaganda and being influenced by it, which is no use. That's what manipulators want you in a state of ignorance, so that they can play upon your ignorance and use fear tactics against you. So I encourage people to go and have a look at that material, no because I'm a proponent of the ideology and I'm a member of the philosophical movements and all this shite, just so that people understand what they're dealing with. That's what it was about. And again, this thing about the Masons and their symbols and my tattoos, again, trying to play on ignorance with people, because people don't understand these symbols and what they actually mean and what they mean to each individual. So it's been used as a general thing to put fear and discourage people. Now, they're trying to tarnish my character, me the man, because I think they fear the influence that I have on the material that I speak about. Okay, not because me, I'm some sort of messiah, it's because of the material I offer, right? And that's what they have a real issue with. Okay, so these people are going about and they're creating this person as well. It's all love and light for people like her and this boy Tom, and oh, we're this, that, and the other. But yeah, this thread is just full of misrepresentation, barefaced lies, antagonistic behaviours, you know, slander. It's fucking ridiculous. These people are so transparent, it's fucking unbelievable. The people really need to start having a look at what's going on. Okay, now this boy here, who's trying to be some sort of knight in shining armour to Roxanne Glenn. Now, when this all ensued, this Roxanne Glenn, you know, something happened on one of her hangouts. Now, I was highlighting the hypocrisy and the contradictions of this profession of unity and love and light, because there was a person there called Mr. Cheswick who was asking questions about these people and what their intent really was. Now, he was being attacked for it, and I highlighted it. It just so happened to be on this Roxanne Glenn's, you know, live stream. Nothing about her person, don't even know her, but a big deal's been made. So you've got guys like Richie Bartlett or Richie F.E. who are now running about saying, Dale, you hurt that woman's feelings. You caused people to revolt against this woman and the abuse to come her way and all this fucking stuff. Now, I'm not in control of the whole internet. I'm not in control of everybody, right? If people misinterpret what's being said, that's not my issue. Okay, I can keep addressing it until they get the fucking message. What I'm doing right now for these dipshits who are going about trying to portray me in a certain fucking light, right? The whole point was, you know, we all understand movements are coerced. We all understand how things are infiltrated. So when I'm talking about anarchy and empower individuals, and I see groups being formed, and I see them with mantras and movements happening, I'm going to question it. We all should be questioning these types of things. So, cool. No bother. So, as truthers, we should know these things, and we should be questioning anybody who's forming groups and professing movement and mantras of unity and lovey-dovey oneness, right? Especially when there's contradictions and selective behaviour going on, like selecting who's part of the in crowd, who's to be loved and who's to be, you know, disregarded. And what we've seen was that as long as you toe the line and you don't ask questions, you can be in the lovey-dovey in crowd. If you ask questions, you're a Satanist, Masonic, troublemaking show. So there's a real issue there. Now, if these people really were, you know, intellectually capable and real truthers, whatever the fuck that means, right, they would understand that. They would be encouraging. They would be willing to come to the table and say, no, hold on a minute, you know, totally right. Like I encourage people, question what I say. Come and question it. Come and have a one-to-one conversation about it. If you've got an issue with anything that I've put out there or said, let's have a discussion. That's what we should be, open and transparent. Okay? Have discussions with each other. No bark at each other and shut each other down and then go about slandering people because they don't conform to your wee subjective fucking nonsense. Right? So, this portrayal of this poor wee woman that's been hurted, as I said many times before, if people are, you know, affected on an emotional level, it's no direct. It wasn't meant. So you have to have a look at yourself and your own insecurities to see why you were affected on an emotional level and why you're playing the victim and playing on other people's emotions in these weepy, manipulative games. Because I see right fucking through it. If you're saying you're an empowered individual and you're for the truth, deal with it. Stop running about fucking greeting and playing on everybody's emotions. Well, you try and paint me, the man in the shed, as a big fucking bully. It's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. And I see right fucking through it. And I'm going to continue to see right through it. And I'm going to continue to speak out about it. Get fucking used to it. When you actually look at it, they're trying to bully people at me. Right? And they're roping in Eric Dubai, you know, and trying to build associations for whatever reason. Although Eric Dubai is an individual that stands in his own, and I'm an individual that stands in my own, but they keep trying to tie associations and then portray people in certain images in certain ways to whoever. We all have disagreements, you know. This aspect of unity. The unity is let's unite under an objective banner. Let's remain objective when it comes to establishing what's objectively true between each other, right? And I'm fine. I'm on board with that. So, but like Eric goes in other avenues. Eric's entitled to go in other avenues. That's his, you know, prerogative. He is perfectly entitled to set his stall up and pursue whatever avenue he wants. People shouldn't be placing focus on the person. People should be focused on the content. What's objectively true? What's not objectively true? How can we find out what's objectively true? That's what matters. The rest of it is all pantomime that's been used by these manipulative fuckers, okay? I'm just going to keep repeating it until people fucking get it. If you're, you know, by playing idols and playing personalities would still suggest that people are in a state of mind of idolising and following when people like me are trying to break it. So if they're playing idol games and people are trying to become idols and gurus, you should have an issue with them. You shouldn't be following anybody. I'm not a saviour, right? I can only speak for me. I'm not here to save anybody. I'm here asking questions from my own point of view and putting out there what I see is relevant and what I see is important. Now, if people hear or take something that's a useful tool to them, or if it triggers a thought, a new avenue of contemplation, excellent. But my intent is not to convert and save. The ones that are into converting and saving that have a messiah complex, they're going to have narcissistic tendencies. They're going to be sociopathic. They want to be an idol. They want to be your guru. They want to be put up on a pedestal as some human that's above all other humans. Fuck that. Oh, let's make a statue. Let's make a statue for Dale because he was a great activist. He made a big difference to the human race. Fuck off. So, again, I'm always open to discussion. I'm always open to resolve. I will not be silent. And, you know, I'm always going to speak out. What I see is important. What I see is detrimental. I'm going to hear that. Okay? Now, if people are listening to that, that's up to them. I've just set my stall out. My intent was never to be, oh, I'm going to get mad, loads of subscribers and likes on videos. I didn't give a fuck about any of that. All I gave a fuck about was representing what I seen as the truth. That's it. Now, if people come and they take that and they hear it, that's up to them. There is nobody forced to come here. There's nobody under my influence. They have been discouraged from idolising and following. They have been encouraged to stand on their own 2 feet, discern for themselves, and to check things out for themselves. End of story. So fuck them. They can continue to play these games. I'm going to continue to meet it head on every opportunity I get. Right? So when they come back, sour grapes, ego, all that bullshit, you know there's an issue. They're not addressing the points that were actually made. They're too busy playing the victim and portraying me as a big bully through a screen. Right? No answering questions. There wouldn't be any questions if there wasn't groups being formed with mantras and buzzwords and fakery. Okay? So I'll come to the chat in a wee second. I'm just going to check my emails here to see if anybody's mailed me. Probably Billy Mates. Right. Fred Rod. Let me see, Fred Rod. Let me see if you've got any content at all. If you've not got any content, you know, I'm going to have a wee bit of an issue with you because I know you're probably one of these cult disciples just desperate to get in and snipe the hangout. So you'll need to send me another email, Fred Rod, and try and convince me that you're somebody real. Okay? If you're determined enough to have the conversation, you're not going to mind that. You should be aware that I'm going to be edgy and, you know, cautious about just throwing out links willy-nilly. Right, I need to make a smoke. So they're playing these games, you know, and I don't know if people are becoming aware yet, you know. And again, you know, the absurdity of these people, they talk about ego, right? But yet they display it in abundance. Okay, you know, their Facebook pages are full of selfies and look at me and look at me and look at me and look what I've done and look at me, look at me, look at me, and it just reeks it. You know, they're not going to convince people like me. I see right through it. You know, a wee funny thing, you know, the wee guy, Tom, I picked up on this, absolutely hysterical. This shows you the level of mentality. You know, this is me quoting, right? I never had any confidence until my father figure here came and gave me confidence to get out in the street and speak to the public. I was so low in confidence that I could only take selfies in a certain pose. I could only take selfies in a certain pose. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I have suffered through my life with deep depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, low confidence, you know, really bad. I've been there to the depths, you know, through my teens, into my 20s, getting into my 30s almost. Right? Now, low self-esteem and low confidence to me was never about, oh, I can only take a selfie in a certain pose. I would not be near a camera in any way, shape or fucking form. I couldn't even go to the fucking shops until it was dark in case anybody looked me in the eyes. Right? That's what low confidence, low self-esteem no ego really is, right? Oh, I can only take a selfie in a certain pose. It's just fucking bullshit. Funny bullshit, made me laugh at the absolute fucking absurdity of it. But it's absurd, right? So, and again, I don't have any issues with these people on a personal level, but they're starting to get personal. As I say, making posts and comments about being nonce. Again, you know, trying to imply paedophilia. I mean, and where I come from, you just don't fucking cross that line. Now, we guys like that obviously think they're safe in their wee fucking group, whatever lines are being fed into their ears. But where I come from, you don't step the marks, right? That's you getting into personal levels of a greater depth. So, you know, I don't go there. They can continue to go there if they like. Carry on. Anyway, be very careful, people. Now, somebody asked me, what's the difference between your meetups and this activism in the street? Well, the difference is that I'm not organising people into activist groups. I'm not, you know, organising groups with mantras. Well, thank you. Cup of tea as well. Thank you very much. And on a social level, people meeting up on a social level is fine. Be very, very careful, right? And be very, very careful of groups, which is why I pull back from it, because I don't want to be responsible, because I can't account for who's going to be showing up at meets that I may organise. And I can't account for people who are there that are maybe vulnerable and susceptible to any kind of manipulation or behaviour that are detrimental to these people. I'm taking responsibility for that because I'm compassionate about it, right? I want to sleep at night. I don't want to, you know, be tossing and turning thinking I've contributed to whatever, right? Because this is the games that are being played. So I pull back from that. But I encourage people, as I always have done, as I say, remain active. People, you need to be active. You need to keep speaking to people in your social circles. If you want to meet people online, do so in a private manner, right? Don't, you know, just be very careful about what you're involved in, who you're going to meet, what groups they are. Be cautious. That's the message I'm offering, right? No discouraging people from being activists is what's being professed. It's total fucking bullshit. It's just that I have a different, you know, pursuit of activism than other people, and that's fine. I can accept that, right? Give me 2 seconds here, right? Apologies, people. I know I'm going to come to the chat in a wee second to see what people are saying here. What the fuck's my skins with? Fuckity. Oh, right. Brandon Cook, Dom Yamaha, apologise to you and apologise to Bill for the other night. It's just the way it went. I had to keep shutting the hangouts down because, you know, these fucking dipshits were jumping in en masse. So I wanted to have a conversation with you both, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. Hopefully, you know, by this weekend we'll have that resolved. Please give me the email. The email is abchao77@gmail.com. abchao77@gmail.com. Again, you know, talking about group dynamic, you see the power of influence with a group. Now, anything that I've said and spoke about has been totally misrepresented within a group dynamic, and it's fueled their group, and it's enraged their group with fire and fury and venom and hatred towards an individual. that's, you know, a family man that's empathetic, that's compassionate, understanding, willing to resolve, and they're just vitriolous attacking, right? Because that's what happens in a group. As soon as somebody, you know, invokes an emotional response, the pressure of the group is to go that road and to stick up for their buddies and to show a herd mentality, to attack the individual opposer. And it's feeding into the same mentality that's always been. It's feeding into the same mentality that we're supposed to be trying to eradicate and evolve past. But they just don't seem to be willing to go there. I don't think the majority of them are capable. Which is why they can only resort to, you know, abuse. That's what they are. That seems to be their nature. If they're not getting their own way, they don't have the intellectual capacity to have rational discussion, to resolve and understand and take responsibilities. They just want it their own way, and they're just going to attack and verbally abuse, you know, anybody that's, you know, questioning them, because they don't know how to deal with it. And then they project that onto you, that's what you are, when it's not what you are. That then misrepresents you. So group dynamics and group thinks are very dangerous fucking things, right? Especially when it's no individual empowered people who are balanced and rational, logical, reasoning people. They're all emotionally impulsive, you know, unhinged, that are operating from there. So you're just going to get fucking loads of issues. Right. People think I'm smoking spliffs. I don't. I'll hardly smoke a joint at all now. It's just the roll-ups. I just use slightly bigger fag papers because it lasts longer. So, right, where are we? Tracy Story, I'll learn how to forest. Riddle me this. Maggie M, how you doing? Des is no wrenched. Dom Yamaha, how you doing? Ali B, how you doing? I get hated on because I think satellites are real. That is why I cannot be fucked. Well, again, Ali, it's a flaw in the thinking of these people. Rather than just having a discussion with you, you know, and being open to your discussions, people feel that they have to ridicule and shut down and oppress and box, and it's that mentality that just causes so many fucking issues. I mean, Ali B, you're entitled to pursue whatever you want as well. Set your stall out, speak your truth, speak what you see. Fuck it. You know, I think the issues come when people get annoyed because they want to convert. Fuck them. You know, just speak what you want to speak, and if people hear it and find something in it, excellent. If they don't, fuck it. So again, you know, I disagree with a lot of things. I disagree with a lot of things that other people, you know, put out there, but I'll defend their right to be able to do that. That's the difference. They have that right as far as I'm concerned. And I have the right to stand here and say, I don't agree with it. Here's why I don't agree with it. But, you know, and what I disagree with also is, you know, I disagree with him just because he's a fucking shell. Oh, look at him, he's got ginger hair. Oh, he's got black hair. He's got tattoos. His skin's a different colour. Right? That's just fucking lunacy. Disagreeing and then articulating why you disagree is a whole other ballgame. Then we can have resolve, understanding, more complexity of understanding, a wider scope. But I just don't like him just because reasons. That's just fucking absurd, retarded mentality. Anders Ace, Pat Mustard, Mega Noob, Steve HV, how you doing? Chelster Deluxe, Groovin Sooth 2, Racer FE, how you doing? David Gilbert, Magumba, how you doing, mate? Lee Redpath, Stuart McKenzie, Squirrel Sniper, TP in 3, Davy Sky Squawker, Tracy Storia, Ashley Taylor, how you doing? Shit, fuck, sorry people, every time I touch that it jumps. Where was I there? P900 Coolpix, how you doing? Truth Hurts. Learn how to forest. One man, he's detector. Ashley Taylordale, what experiments do you think need to be done to prove we are not on a globe? What experiments are needed? It's not, this is the thing, experiments as in making an instrument to measure or, you know, discern whatever. You know, what experiments do you really require to understand the physical behaviour of liquid? You know, again, I'm still seeing this, oh, let's set up force the line. Let's make an extravagant piece of apparatus that's going to consume people's energy and time and resources and string the whole fucking thing out for eternity. The water's fucking level. The water does not have the ability to conform to the exterior of shapes. There is no point A to point B with a decrease in elevation, a slope where the water's no flowing. It's fucking patently absurd. I don't need a fucking experiment to establish that. I just need my fucking common sense. I don't mean that of you, Ashley. You know, I'm talking in general of these people. Why they don't cut it right down to this language, this humanistic, you know, intrinsic language that we use between each other. Oh, I need to formulate an apparatus. And then what? Somebody's going to argue it was, you know, what's the fucking word now? Fuck it. You know, people will argue that it was inconclusive. Thank fuck for that. Inconclusive, or that's not right, or that's not right. How can you argue with the physical behaviour and properties of a liquid? You fucking can't. So, you know, I think people are looking for a ta-da, this one thing that's just going to obliterate the whole thing. It's no, there's layers and levels to this. Understanding language, how their argumentation works, what science really is, how we prove things to each other as individuals. There's loads of avenues you can go. What common sense is, what's self-evident. You know, it's an accumulation of all these things. When it comes right down to it, aye, water, number one, proves beyond any shadow of doubt it's impossible for you to be living in the exterior of any shape. And absolutely impossible. How do you know? Because the liquid tells me that. Oh, let's measure it. What with? A man-made instrument, like a laser or a fucking fence row. Oh, but hang on a minute. What's more accurate? How did you establish level in the first place? Oh, that's right, the liquid told me. Where does the word level even originate for you? How do we get level? I mean, what plumb and level? Oh, aye, right, okay. The proof's there. Everybody knows it. All these, you know, practical people all across the fucking pond that know these things, that just need it pointed out to them. No told, you've been lied to and I'm here to save you. You already know it. You already know it. Here, just look at it. This is what you apply in your everyday life. This is what you know as a tradesman. Now, apply that to a curvy globe earth. Doesn't fucking work. Simple. Oh no, but it must be more complex than that. There is complexity here, but the complex aspect comes from the religious cult. It has to be complex and elaborate because it's a fucking lie. Right? The truth is fucking simple. Bodies of water don't bend. I don't need 5,000 years or 2,000 years of scientific religious bullshit to fucking know that. I don't need, you know, books that thick to fucking explain it with equations and mathematicians and philosophers and great minds. No, the water's just fucking level. It doesn't have that capability. End the fucking story. But it's just when you were a child, you didn't have the confidence or the ability to just be outright and say that. And now as an adult, it's usually important that you just go, fuck off, take your fanciful fucking fluff and ram it right up your shite pipe. Let's get to the real shit. How we deal with each other as human beings on a human level. Fuck your fluff. Stop appealing to bullshit. I don't give a fuck what stature you think you have, a PhD, or I belong to this society and I'm in this university. I couldn't give a fucking rat's ass. That's the attitude people need to have. And stop bending and appealing to this pseudo-intellectual hierarchy that you think exists. Only exists in there, only has power if you keep it in there and allow it. So that's what I think of that. Right, I'm sorry if I've missed any of these comments here because it's jumping to the bottom of the screen. There we go. Stuart McKenzie, how you doing, mate? Freddie King, Simon Shargard, Witty Woo, 65 billion years ago. Natalie Kay, how you doing? I'll take a call, fuck it. Hello?
Hi, Bill.
Who's this?
It's Kieran, man. How are you?
How you doing, Kieran? You alright, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm a bit sunburned, like, but...
It's great, isn't it?
Fucking hell, man. Here, this is fucking climate change, brother.
Aye. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to complain about this kind of climate change, mate, you know?
Oh, man, it's fucking... We had the shittest winter ever.
Yeah.
We're having a fucking beautiful summer, but it's climate change, apparently. Well, and it's all our fault.
Yeah, it certainly is, mate, you know.
Fucking hell, man.
Better stop farting.
No matter what happens, does it? It's just people will bitch about fucking...
I know. Well,
I'm going a bit slow because my fucking hay fever is through the roof, man.
Oh, don't start complaining about it, man. Come on.
No, I was going to say, I was out, I walked around 18 holes around the coast with my brother today who plays golf.
Yeah.
And man, you should have just seen the views and the still water. In all seriousness, like it was just, you can see, if you look northeast from us, you can near enough see the Scottish coast. You can see the Isle of Man, and you can see near enough North Wales.
Yeah.
In the distance. Yeah. It was just, and there wasn't a ripple.
Excellent. On the water. Perfect conditions.
Oh man, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I noticed that. Me and Dan, we went out today, try to get wee observations and speak to a few people. But a lot of the times when you're trying to get observations, especially with a camera, I think it's best to have the sun at your back rather than, you know, in front of you, because when we're trying to look and get observations, it's having a, you know, it's playing havoc with trying to see things, you know, it's causing real problems. You get a better view of things when the sun's at your back.
Absolutely. And even my brother was even saying that to me earlier on. He was just agreeing with me, just going, you know what, there's no camera that can actually, you know, just justify the views that we're seeing right now. Yeah. And it is hard to get that, because I was trying with the camera, I was just trying to like zoom in on things, just going, it looks fucking ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You know, you just have to be there, and that's the thing. You know, like what you were saying there about everyday observations. You know yourself. Yeah, that's it, man. And it always comes back to that. You know, that's. I mean. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, on you go, buddy. I was just going to say, you know, at the end of the day, people know that the minute they open their eyes, you know, they know they're no level. As soon as they stand up, they establish their level, and then they have a directional compass of every possible direction from the level, you know? Yeah. So, and that's what I was getting to, man. I mean, I've been, like I said on Facebook, I've been seeing all this bitch fest the past few days, and I've been taking notes. Yeah. And if you don't mind, I'll go through a few of them. Well, firstly, it was just like we were saying there about observations. When it comes to this kind of, I mean, at the start it was always us versus them, as in us who, you know, agree with objective reality versus those who or the religious globeheads.
Yeah.
But it's gone beyond that now.
Yeah.
It's like, when did objective truth suddenly become part of a community?
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
You know, when did a community, like, these people are saying that the community is more important than the objective truth.
Yep.
We're all agreeing on the same fucking thing. So why are they saying he's not part of the community? He's not part of the community.
Yeah.
What fucking community?
Well, that tells you a lot, because I'm not part of their community. They're creating a community. They're coercing and you know, establishing a community with a hierarchy, you know, and idols. So I'm quite happy that I'm not part of their community.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, man. If they have a community, they're going to end up with a fucking treasurer and a president.
Yeah.
It is, but that is the way, you know, that wee section of their so-called truth is going. It's getting to that point where, are you either with us or are you with somebody else?
Exactly.
And it's like, I mean, you were saying around it as well, and I've seen it the past few days. You and Eric are being pigeonholed now.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And why are people loving you and Eric?
I don't know, mate.
You say not. The only thing that you say that Eric says is that water is flat.
Yep.
Nothing else.
But this is it. They want to lump us in association so that they can then start targeting us as a community, because it's easier to target these individuals if you can build an association. You know, if you can get them into a wee clumped group, then we can just target it as a group and hope that will influence people. So that's exactly their game, mate. You know, as I say, right.
I think that whole John, that guy is probably okay. You know what I mean? When you get right down to it, he's probably okay. John Smith, or actually that's not even his name. His name is something else. But it's that kind of that group's almost become cult-like in itself. Yeah. You're either with John Smith or you're not.
Exactly.
And it's almost like, well, I'm not with him, but I agree with some truths that he says. Why do I have to be with him?
Exactly, mate.
If you're not with him, you're a fucking shill.
Exactly. Or if you're no with me, or if you're no with Eric, or if you're no with whoever, you're a fucking shill. And it's these games, man. This is how you recognise these players when they start, you know, throwing these things out there. They just shouldn't even be playing those games, you know.
That's fucking brainwashing thing.
Exactly, you know.
Why can't adults, consenting adults, have disagreements?
Exactly.
You know, we need to become, you're a bully, or you're not allowed to disagree with that because that's a flat earth brother you're disagreeing with.
I know.
If I have an objective truth, if he's telling me something that's not in my everyday observations, why can't I say that?
Exactly.
Well, because then you're going to be going against the flat earth brotherhood.
Exactly. You know.
That shit, man.
Exactly, mate. This is what we're trying to break away from. You know, we should be encouraging and openly, you know, establishing a questioning mindset. You know, me included, question every fucking thing. Ask questions, have discussion, you know, find resolve. If we're really intent on establishing truths, objective truths, whatever truths, then you should be committed to that, you know, and always pursuing that. As soon as you come to dividing people up and saying things like you just said, oh, if you question or you go against it, you're no part of your community, you're a shill. That's fucking behaviour that's to be avoided and looked at, you know.
I see all that. I can't remember his name now, but there was somebody just attacking you constantly, going, "What you said about Roxanne was so unjust. She's a lovely person." You're going, and I 100% agree, because I've watched every hangout.
Yeah.
He's never said anything about that woman.
No, I know, mate.
And he's going, "What you have done is persecuted her, and people are back turning on her, and she's depressed." You go, "What the fuck did I say?"
Exactly, mate. But here's the thing, mate. I've been up here for fucking 3 years or something, and I've been taking abuse left, right, and fucking centre. Exactly, slandering, misrepresenting, whatever, and I'll just meet it head on. I talk it out openly. You know, I don't run about going, "Oh, poor me, everybody feels sorry for me."
Exactly, and I'm not laughing at the fact that, you know, she may be upset, and if she is upset, I am sorry for her.
Exactly.
Because I know what it's like, man. I think you were saying as well about anxiety and depression. Me and you've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's not funny
when
you suffer from things like that. But to be blaming that on your door is totally unfair as well.
Yeah, it's just
it's not fucking right, man. You know what I mean? If you're talking about misrepresenting things, it's not directed at one person.
No, exactly.
If she's taking it as that, then that's her insecurities.
But this is part of their bias and how these things work. When they identify a target of hatred, you know, they don't show the full picture. So later on, you know, even though I never focused on any of these people's personalities, I openly expressed, look, if what I've said has affected anybody on an emotional level and upset anybody, then I don't want that. That was never my intention. So, you know, I've addressed that, but they don't represent that. They don't give the whole picture. They just identify what they want in order to portray things in a certain light, and they just hammer it. So you can see that they're no honest people. You know, they don't have real integrity and, you know, a real truther mentality. It's just a game. You know.
100%, man. And I'm not saying this to back you up, but I read all the comments, and I seen that you said things like, if I've offended people, or if somebody's got upset by the things I'm saying, I wasn't directing it at anybody, and they were all just saying stuff like, "You're full of shit. You knew exactly who you were talking about."
Exactly.
That's not fair on you. Like, it's not.
That's gaslighting.
It's turning against you just because you're not
backing down
their community.
Exactly.
But why should you? You know.
But that's a form of gaslighting, mate. You know, if I express, you know, openly where I was coming from, and they're telling me that's not where you were coming from, you were coming it from this, then what are they trying to do to me? Make me doubt myself? Make me, you know, cave in and go, oh, okay, you know, I'll let you gaslight me into what you perceive me as. Nah, fuck off. You know, I see the games as well. You know.
Why are the target for their interview people on the street? We fuck them off. Like, I haven't even, to be honest. See, the street interviews thing to me is a bit boring for me.
Yeah.
It's a bit just, you've seen 2 or 3 videos, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing it every day. It's going to get to the point where you're annoying people.
Exactly.
It's not even that. It's like,
Kieran, are you holding your phone away because your volume keeps coming up and down? You're really quiet.
Sorry, man. Sorry. No, I thought it was too close. That's why.
No, that's much better, mate.
Sorry, man. No, it's just like.
Well, that's why I didn't, you know, continually repeat it over and over and over again, because you have to look at why would I be doing that? Why would I continually do the same thing over and over and over, especially when I have faulty, flawed information in there? That tells me that you're not really progressing. You're not, you know, thinking and trying to establish new methods or new angles of approach. That I would have to look at myself as I did and say, look, I'm doing this for selfish reasons. I'm doing this to be, you know, remaining a celebrity on YouTube and to establish myself as the main street interview guy. And that's never what my incentive was. My incentive was, as I say, to offer people a method of approach. And that was it.
And everything you said there is honestly, and I swear to God on this, that is what I've like say I don't watch John Smith's videos, but every day, because I subscribe to him because it was a flat earth thing, every day I'm getting, you know, notifications, new flat earth interview, street interview every day.
Yeah.
It's almost as if like it's a self gratification.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, I love going out onto the streets and annoying people.
Yeah.
But like, is it helping?
Well, this is it. For me, it comes down to equality. Again, you know, I'm on board with the activism of awareness and making people aware of the topic. But when you start getting into one-to-one interactions, I think you know, you owe it to yourself and to the whole thing to be articulate and really have your ground covered, and approach each individual with compassion, understanding, respect, really to plant a seed, if that's your intent, you know, is to find a method to get the seed right in there and to make a difference, you know. And again, you know, that's just my approach. These people are free to do what they want. I disagree with it, and I'm entitled to disagree with it. That doesn't mean to say that, you know, I'm a shill, you're a shill, we're trying to shut activism down. The way they're trying to profess it is absolute fucking bullshit, mate.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's where it comes from. It's just the fact that, you know, you've observed that, and you've actually said, okay, if they're doing that every day, to me that's not working.
No.
And then they attack you by going, well, he's obviously a fucking shill now.
Exactly.
Just because you have an opinion.
Exactly.
Well, who are you different from the man on the street?
Exactly. That's it. I mean, look at the amount.
That's all you've ever said, man.
You know, and the amount of people that have got a difference of opinion or whatever to me, I don't run about calling them fucking shills and pedos and fucking this, that, and the other. Yeah.
And we've all got different opinions.
Yeah.
You know, of course it is. And I mean, you're going to get, you know, there's a lot of flat earth activists are talking about gods, you know, and
spirituality.
There's a lot of Christian stuff going on.
Yeah.
And gods, to me, like the God thing is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's also misinformation because it cannot be proven.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it is really fucking interesting to me because I was brought up a Catholic.
Yeah.
And of course it's going to be ingrained in me, you know, and I was an altar boy.
Yeah.
You know, that whole God thing it's ingrained in me.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to be fucking interesting to me, but it's not anything, and that's the thing about, you know, what we're experiencing in our everyday life. There is no God in our existence.
No.
That we can see.
No. There is only your consciousness, mate. You know, and that's the thing. That is where the empowerment has to come. You as an individual, you know, you're in this machine, this biological machine, and it has a brain and it has, you know, emotional processes, and it's a matter of understanding the machine so that you're no subject to external influence and the machine's influence, that you are really in control and you know, deciding for yourself and discerning for yourself. That's the whole point.
And that's the thing, people take that away from you though. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, people think that's a negative, that you're actually sitting going, well, in my existence, and you're going, well, your existence isn't important. It's the world of consciousness and all this shit.
Yeah.
You're going, well, what the fuck's that got to do with me?
Exactly.
You know, and I get the whole, not unity, but if people were all good, then there would be no need for anarchy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. It's just if people were, but everybody's got their own agenda.
Exactly. So this is where we have to look, you know, as I was saying about anarchy, people having their own agendas, as long as it doesn't cross those boundaries, those lines, then there isn't an issue. You know?
Well, that's what anarchy is, isn't it? You know, that's what anarchy is. You know, people think anarchy is this whole fucking, do what you want, like it's almost like a Satanist thing.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's you know what's right and what's wrong.
Well,
and
that's
if you're
it.
not harming anybody, then why does anybody have a problem with you?
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Is that not more Christian than what fucking Christians profess?
Yeah. And again, the anarchy comes even deeper rooted. It's a psychological state of mind, you know, how I'm filtering things and where I'm operating from. No, as a subservient being that's under the influence of an external source, whether it be a man, a government, or a god. You know, I'm discerning for myself, and that's where I'm standing. And anybody that wants to be involved with me has to come to the equal level, you know, and that includes gods. Or a god, and if that's not the case, then fuck you, just wipe me out for all eternity, because I'm not going to be subservient to any fucker.
Exactly. You know? It comes from within.
Yeah.
The good within.
Yeah. Exactly, mate. So it's a psychological state of mind. It's a state of being. Anarchy is no an organisation or some external, you know, temple. It's a state of being, and people misunderstand it. You know.
Exactly. 100%, man.
Yeah. And again, sorry, on you go, mate.
Sorry, man. No. It was just I was going to let you go on, but the only other thing I wanted to address was, you see, when people are talking about the the tattoo thing. I've heard that the past few days.
Yeah.
Tattoos aren't shit. No. When it comes down to it.
No.
You know, it's an ink engraving where you felt right at that time.
Exactly.
And the thing about it is, people make fun of me because I have a sacred heart on my arm.
Yeah.
A burning cross, a Catholic cross on my arm. I got that when I was 18.
Yeah.
Because it was the only thing I could afford in the tattoo shop because it was a back street. Do you know what I mean? When you look at the things, you just go, oh, that looks cool. Yeah. I was brought up Catholic. I'm going to get a sacred heart. It looks cool. Yeah. That's and then people are going to go, oh, look at fucking devout Catholic there. And you go, I'm not even a Catholic. And then you say, well, you've got a sacred heart. And you go, yeah, because at the time. That's it. It's a timepiece. Yep. Isn't it? Exactly. You know what I mean? But people are looking. The only reason why I'm saying this is because I've noticed the Facebook comments and the YouTube comments about you going, oh, he's Masonic. You go, the fuck's Masonic about that, man? Exactly. We all have tattoos. I've got an Anarchy tattoo on my arm as well. What I got when I was 19. Yeah. I don't even really listen to every meeting anymore. Do you know? Exactly, mate. I'm not fucking ashamed of it. It's part of it was when I was 19. It's like a walking diary. It's part of your experiences and what you've picked up and what you liked at the time and what your preferences were. And it's been addressed to you. It's, I'm blue in the face, but they'll continue with the same old fucking shite, you know. And I mean, and it comes right. I know, mate. I know, but you know, this is the problem with people. What the fuck? Even if I was connected to some, you know, secret society or whatever else, that does not detract from the information and the content that I'm offering. Again, it comes down to people's discernment about being objective in regards to contents. Know who I am as a person. You know, if people they want to keep you in that's the manipulative aspect. Judging people by appearance rather than their walk, you know. So people never go below the surface. They judge things at a surface level, and that's easy to manipulate. That's easy to play on people, and that's the games they play. That's all they have, you know. So fuck them, mate. It's very easy to get a tattoo of something as well. You know, you're quiet again, mate. You went quiet. Sorry, man. Right. If you read Dan Brown's books, you know, about symbols and stuff, you could love those books and go and get like a pentagram or a Masonic symbol on your arm because you love the lost symbol. Yeah. And there's people going to see Freemason, can't be trusted. Exactly. It's just, you know, that kind of thing makes me laugh though, because it's just how fickle are people. They're so, and you have to almost blame David Icke for it as well. And I love David Icke's research, but it's just like, right. Well, I mean, I've just looked. So sus. Everyone's so sus now about everything though as well. It's like, I know. I've just realised this wee dipshits here in the comments. This wee guy, this wee Tom Wilkinson guy, he's got a real competition in his mind. He wants to be competitive with me like it's a big fucking competition game, and he wants to establish himself. He's an absolute immature, fucking unhinged little torag. That's all he is. He's telling me, you're all listening to your leader because you can't conjure an original thought between you. Even though me and you are talking about stuff that fucking is important. Exactly, mate. Exactly. I'll let you go and rip them to shreds. Well, this is your leader signing out, Kieran. You know. Cheers for letting me on, man. Yeah, no bother, buddy. Cheers for phoning. Appreciate it. Take it easy. All right, bud. Take care. See you, man. Take it easy, mate. Bye. Wee man, you know, you've got this competition in your mind because you're full of testosterone and you're young and daft, right? You're just going to make yourself look fucking absolutely fucking stupid, son. So you better get the competitive idea out of your skull right now, because I'm just going to rip you to fucking shreds, mate, and you're not going to like it. Your wee ego is going to make you go insane. And I can see it in you, that you've got intimidating behaviour. I've seen it with Victoria sitting next to you when you nipped at her and she was like, oh, doesn't want to go there because she knows you'll probably fly off the handle. I've heard it from people that have met you in person.
Right? You're just a silly wee guy that thinks you've got a grasp on things and you've no, son. Right? People like me are willing to fucking extend their hand out and help you. Right? To try and help you to progress and move on. But you're just full of delusions. And you're going to continue to go in circles until you burn yourself out. Right? That's up to you. You can carry on. What's the Jesuit? The keys. See the keys here? This here was a big empty space. And I was in my mate's tattoo shop and I'm looking, right, occult symbols. What's nice? What fits in the space? Oh, look at that fucking thing. What does that mean? Don't know. Fuck it. Looks good. It'll fit there. Right, find out later on. All right, that's what it means. Fuck it. It fits into the whole fucking piece anyway. Who gives a fuck? You know? Come and see me in the shed, you wee prick. Come and visit me. You know where I live? I live in a housing scheme in the west of fucking Scotland. You utter fucking moron. Away and run about playing Messiah. A wee 20-year-old dipshit that doesn't have a fucking clue about anything. Yeah, I'm a Messiah. I'm going to convert and shape people. And I'm at spiritual oneness and high self-esteems and all that's fucking cack. You get no life experience. You don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. You just look like a total fucking moron. Right? You better stop it. He's just happy because he's getting his fucking name mentioned. That's all he's interested in. You look at the Facebook page and it's just, oh, look at my selfies. Oh, love me, love me, love me. Ain't I doing good? Look at me, leading the way. If it wasn't for people like me, you wouldn't even have a place. You fucking absolute clown, you. Toddle on. Unless you're willing to come and engage with me at a one-to-one level, you can fuck off. You're just weak. That's the same wee guy that's putting nonce, right? The same wee fucking moron that's going to get a wee fucking slap, ruin the lug for it. Next time I see you, sonny boy. So, your content's pish, mate. You get your content off everybody else. You get your content off people like me. You even speak the words that came right out of my mouth. Yet you're here saying about people never have an original thought. You've listened and paid attention and picked up what you needed, which is good, because at least you're paying attention. But don't come round here thinking you've got original thoughts, because you get fuck all. You learned from people like me. Okay? Right, let me see who's inboxed me here. Alex, hi there, we'd love to have a chat. The flyer, the funny how Earthler is highlighted with a red squiggle. So everything is literally, I'm below on YouTube, but just to clarify. Right. What time are we on? Cheers, Adam. I just seen your email there. Nice one, buddy. I'll send you the link right now, Adam. Hold on a minute. Right. Right, Robert, cool. If you can come on Saturday, that'd be excellent. So I've got you there, Robert Matthews. We'll do that on Saturday. And I think I've got somebody else lined up. Eric Bosheen, bear with me, Eric, because I've just sent a link to somebody else. Right, while I'm waiting here, I've got some messages coming through on the phone. I'm going to have a wee look at. What's that? Right, so these messages, wait a wee second. So this was one, Dennis Gore. You were saying you would like to come on, you're saying you're a PhD. I'd like to tell your story and to thank you and Gav for a more special, empowering educational experience. Dennis, it would be great to have you on, mate. I don't know if you're going to hear this. Failing that, if I don't get a message from you, either an email or on the phone, I will use my personal phone and send you a wee message, and hopefully we can get a wee chat before Saturday. Be good to have you on Saturday. To all the physicists, scientists and globe believers out there, get a 40-mile pipe, have one end just submerged in the sea and the other end just above the sea. Using globe measurements, you will have 1,000 feet fall. Stick a turbine on the end of the pipe and we have free energy. Perpetual motion. Don't just read it out like you normally do, like a prick. This can be tested. Cheers, Andy. Get up, you Andy. Hope that was all right. Did I read it out okay? I know what you're saying. We've seen that before as well. I think a few other people have brought that up, but it's a good one. Totally agree. Hi Dale, I'm Metal Dog Rides in the chat. My name is Roy, but please don't use it on the show because the fucking trolls are shit. You got to stop letting these shitheads get to you, mate. They're not getting to me. You know, it's an opportunity for me to highlight. There's loads of complexities to this whole thing. You know, people getting involved, you know, the interactions between people. And I think it's important that we speak out these things and we don't act like they don't exist. It's not like it's getting to me and, oh, it's getting to me. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. It doesn't affect me at an emotional level. I continue my life as I do any other time. You know, I just get animated and passionate about certain aspects. They're not getting to me. I appreciate people's concerns, but really there's nothing to be concerned about. The minute that things start to get to me on an emotional level is the minute that I'll shut this down and walk away from it. Okay? So, if they had any fucking balls, they would come and say it to your face. Exactly. They're just trying to push your buttons and fuck up your show. They're just jealous of you. 15k subscriptions. Well, they can be jealous of all they like. I don't give a fuck about that. You know, I don't care if there's one person, 10 people here. I'm going to continue, as I always have done, set out from the start. Didn't have subscriptions, didn't have people or any of that stuff. I just, you know, offered what I offered, and that was my intent. Not to be famous, not to have a set amount of subscriptions or whatever. So if that's their game, that's up to them. It's hard for the shits to swallow. Keep doing what you're doing, Dale. Some of us really want to listen to what you're saying and doing. Have a good night, mate. Water is flat, earth is flat. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, Dale. Invite Disputable Reality on. Tear him a new one. Can't believe he accused all of us of having a leader. He just isolated the whole chat room. Fuck him. He's just a silly. He's just a wee boy. A silly, insecure wee guy. He can come here anytime. Knows where I fucking live. Evening, Space Force. Could it be a force to explore where we haven't been? Not the bullshit vacuum one, just a thought, Mike. Well, Mike, you know, I also think if they're really creating a space force, you know, and considering it a branch of the military, well, we know what military's for, you know, so what are they really telling us there? Are they ready to stage or unveil some contact, you know, something beyond the area that we know and understand? I mean, I don't know. I'd just be very cautious. This is the whole point. Let's just see what they try and unravel and what they offer us. But the fact that they call it a space force would tell you a lot. Answer me a fucking grouse. Protection case, protection case, protection case. I know where you stay. Oh dear. Somebody's upset. Hi Dale, the foundations of deception are being chipped away slowly and surely. Don't get fazed by silly trolls. Remain strong, Jock Cousteau. I will, Jock. Appreciated, man. I will. I'm always on it. As I keep saying, you know, for me, these things are hugely important. It's a huge aspect. Human beings and their behaviours and their interactions with each other, hugely relevant. You know, especially as this thing rolls on and rolls on, it's going to get more complex. It's going to get more intense. You're going to see games left, right, and centre. You're going to see them start to establish, you know, set groups and leaders and idols and a new market. You know, this is what's being set up. Surely people must be able to see that. Hey bro, keep up the good fight. Love truth. You speak it. We're getting there. Open my eyes. Cheers, man. Well, we will get there as long as we continue to talk. You know, and again, you know, you look at examples of this, you know, everything that I've said tonight, what I've offered up, and, you know, still open to resolve, still open to discussion, clarifying exactly, you know, my intent, what's meant, what I've said, what I've, you know, approached. And all you get is antagonistic behaviour, somebody that's just got a competition in their mind. It's obviously because I make them insecure, you know, or they've got an agenda because of the content that's being offered. You know, they don't like it. They don't like anybody that's trying to empower individuals, that's trying to really instill that in people, because that's a threat to any establishment, any agendas, any manipulation. They don't want that. You know, so you've got that aspect to contend with, and you've also got immaturity, insecurity, where they feel threatened by you, like, and because they're threatened, they feel like they need to tear you down so that they can establish themselves, because they perceive me as some sort of leader and some sort of figure, so they think they need to attain that, and it's just all delusions in their mind. You know, we guys like that are just lost. Again, maybe through experience, wisdom will kick in. Who the fuck knows? I'm not going to sit about waiting for it right enough.
You all right, Phil?
No. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all right. What's going on?
Nah, just the usual, man. Just the usual. How's yourself?
Same old shit has popped up again.
it's just the same circular fucking nonsense, man, you know?
Yeah, we just don't seem to be learning a lesson on this. Do you know what we're going through? We're going through this empire building again.
Yeah.
You got people who are trying to build little empires, get little followings, and it's what got us in this mess in the first place.
Exactly, man.
Listen to what other people say.
Exactly.
I mean, this has been going, what, 3-4 years now?
Yep.
It would just make a change if people would just get on with it.
I know, mate.
I don't know why we'd ignore these people.
Well, I date to an extent, AG. You know, I mean, you know, I'm not here every time talking about this stuff, but what am I supposed to do? You know, if I see it happening and it's been centred and targeted around me, I have to address it. You know, I can't just sit back. For me, it's the opportunity to highlight some of these games and the tactics that they use. You know, whether it be complicit, you know, behaviours, or whether it's just, you know, unhinged, emotionally retarded, you know, lack of intellectual capacity. I mean, there's varying complexities. So I think the best thing is every now and again, if it keeps happening, I'm going to highlight it and just keep talking about it until we get some resolve, we get some understanding on it. But it really doesn't affect me on an emotional level. So, and again, it shouldn't bother people with me addressing it, because who am I? I'm not anybody's leader, you know. So
exactly, and I'm nobody's leader. It's there for people to look at for themselves. We seem to have at the moment people trying to be I'm going to prove the flat earth to everybody's satisfaction and it's game over. No, it's not. It's never going to be over. All right. It cuts into too many things for people that people don't want to deal with. All right, it makes people confront. Because have you seen any other subject that riles people up the way Flat Earth does?
No.
All right, people are saying, well, prove it to me. There's enough information out there now for people, if they really want to know enough to get a handle on it, there's enough information out there. And people are saying, well, make a video about this. The fuck off, make a video about this.
Exactly.
All right, there's enough stuff out there. People need to get themselves to the stage where they say, right, I'll make a decision. I think the world's flat.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks.
That's a very good point, mate, because that's the crux of it. And again, it relates back to this idea of activism and being, responsible. For me, there's a responsibility of, responsible to the responsible, as the saying goes. If I see somebody who I think already has a question in mind and who may be susceptible to, just a wee seed planting that will send them on a pursuit of, finding out for themselves. That's where I focus on. I don't focus, I've said it so many times, I don't think the majority of people, if it was on the 9 o'clock news tonight, what's that going to achieve? They're still not going to understand things at any kind of fundamental levels. They're just going to go with the flow of the crowd again. They have to have a voice within that's already on the path of asking questions for them to go and find out. So it doesn't matter what I make or you make or anybody else makes. The information's there, as you say. It's there for everybody to find. If they want it, they will go and get it. Yeah. So there's a fine line between making people aware of the topic in question and trying to convert them.
It goes back to something you were talking about earlier. If we're running around like wide-eyed maniacs trying to convince people, it's not going to happen.
No.
People don't buy into things like that. You can't stop somebody in the street for an hour and a half and say, I'm going to prove to the earth is flat, and they're going to walk away at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because they need to walk away with those things and they need to think about them. Mm-hmm. And this is just an opportunity for people to come in and talk, ask the odd little questions they've got.
Yeah. That's it for me. It's much more powerful, in my social interactions, having one-to-ones.
Yeah,
where you can cater for that individual that you're speaking with. You can have a proper conversation with them, and then they may go and pursue it rather than, as you say, a fleeting, bombardment in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Especially if it comes across the wrong way, you're just going to force people to just ridicule it and ignore it even further.
Yeah, we'd all like it is. It's one of those things. You're not gonna make a convert, and what are you gonna do with the one that, if you, on the off chance that you made one?
Yeah,
because they will go away and think about it. All right,
yeah.
And if you simply send somebody away with so much shit that they've got to think about, and they kind of end up agreeing with you, they'll still resent you for it.
Yeah,
you think they will think that you've convinced them of something. And then they get all wound up about it, which is why we've got all the trolls at the moment.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
And say to them, look, go away and think about it for yourself.
That's it. This is what it comes right down to, Individuals discerning and thinking for themselves. So for me, I always have to think about that, and where I'm applying, any sort of activism.
The thing is, the problem is we've let a lot of personalities get too deeply entrenched in it.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I'm here for.
No.
Right. I know who my friends are. My friends are very close.
Exactly, mate.
You meet anybody online? No, it's not. And the problem is these little confederacies get made.
Yeah.
Little groups go away. We're the best group. We're going to prove it to every. No, you're not. It's not going to happen.
No.
No. Go away and think about it.
Exactly, mate.
Exactly. I was sorry to see the Hangouts have all caved in.
What's that, mate?
The Hangouts, opening the Hangouts up.
I'm resolving that. It'll be back.
Yeah.
Because I did miss the opportunity of engaging with new people, So
well, if you need another hand on another mouse somewhere,
cool.
that's not. I don't particularly want to be involved in a regular thing.
Yeah.
I don't need to, but sometimes you just need a few people behind the computer just to bomb them out.
Yeah.
By all means, ask.
Nice one, mate.
I'm quite happy to do it for you, mate.
I appreciate it, mate. Thanks very much for offering.
All right. So I'll get off out the way in case you've got anybody else waiting to get in.
No bother, mate.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Just touch base and say hello.
Nice one, man.
All right, mate. Speak to you soon.
Take it easy, buddy. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Right. Cheers, Bill. Well, Fred Rod, you know, I asked you to email me. You know, I'm a bit concerned about who you may be because you don't seem to have any content. You just come back with, can I come on? I have questions of what you think knowing the full dimensions of this world will tell you anything about anything. Well, that's a bit concerning, you know, that you would even ask that, Rod, Fred, whatever. I mean, what game are we playing? If you don't know the court or the arena that you're in, what game are you playing? What's your rules? You know, I mean, it's the foundation of everything. You know, the house that you are within. If you don't even know what it is, what are you invested in? What are you partaking in? Right. So it's hugely relevant, and it concerns me that, you know, people who are, you know, I'd have to consider you're even on a level of contemplation or asking questions. Why you've not figured that out? You know, if you know there's a lie being told in regards to where we are, that's for good reason. Reasons that we really don't know about right at this moment in time. But, you know, I can offer up reasons for, you know, control, you know, but what else is beyond there? Who knows? So we're blinded right now about, you know, we have a fake history. We're wandering about in the dark. We don't know who we are. We don't know why we're here. We don't know where we are. Right? So there's only so far I can go on an internal journey in regards to understanding my mind and, you know, what I've been invested in before and eradicating those things. You come to a clearing and there is nowhere else to go internally. You know, you can still learn certain aspects, you can still gain new wisdom, but, you know, as far as pursuing an understanding of who I am, why I'm here, where I'm, you know, there has to be a process of finding that out. Now I'm at the point of, you know, I need to explore the place. I need to know exactly where I am so that I've got a picture of, you know, where this is, what it is, what's beyond, if anything's beyond. Then I've got a bigger chance of, you know, finding a real strand of chronological history to how I ended up here. Okay, so it's hugely important and hugely relevant to me. And that's all I can pursue, is what I see as important and what I desire. So that's my pursuit, and it has been from the very beginning. You can go and check, you know. So questions like that are quite concerning to me. You know, what knowing the full dimension of this world will tell you anything about anything? Well, I would know where I was for a fucking start, you know, and then I can establish, is there anything else beyond it? Can we get outside it? Can we see this area as a whole? Can we see the workings, the mechanics here, you know, the machine? Where does that lead? Is there something else beyond this? So, Eric Boshin, I seen you were calling there. We'll catch up tomorrow and I'll speak to you in regards to coming on Saturday. If that's all right with you. So, Robert Matthews, I responded to that. Robert, I spoke to you the other day. It was nice catching up with you. I think that was you I spoke to. I forget names. So let's go on in the chat box. Aye, Eric, that's fine. I'll speak to you on Saturday about that, mate. We'll catch up tomorrow. I'll have a private hangout with you, and then we can do that on Saturday. Nice one. So, right, chat box. See, Don, I find Flat Earth hilarious on YouTube. It's like watching a pantomime. People calling each other names, threatening and abusive talk, and everyone needing a leader. Things never change. Exactly. So don't attribute it to Flat Earth. Attribute it to the human psyche as a whole, you know, that stems from a blinding foundation of living on a nature-defying fucking sphere pair, zipping through a vacuum. These are all just the symptoms of the bullshit that we've had to go through. So don't attribute it to Flat Earth, right? Just attribute it to human beings in general. This is what we're trying to resolve, you know? There's a difference between saying, you prick, or you're daft, or whatever, or fuck you. There's a real difference from that to, you know, subtly, you know, portraying people's characters in a certain light and perpetuating it and repeating it. That's manipulation, that's propaganda, that's bullying. There's a huge fucking difference. You know, I'll call a spade a spade. That's totally different. I'm not being subversive and sneaky and running about in circles trying to portray people in certain lights. I'm just, you know, expressing my concerns, my opinions, whatever, straight out. So I'm not being sneaky or deceptive. Pantomimes can be good. You can learn things with pantomimes as well. So, sorry if you're hoping to have a negative impact. It's not going to work. Exactly. Baron Bronskevich, opinions are Eric or whoever else. There shouldn't be an opinion on their person. It's the content. Spot on, man. This is like the crux of the whole fucking pantomime and how to spot them. The people who don't just focus on content, that don't just address things in an open, upfront manner, that run about playing silly fucking games. That's the ones we should have concerns about. Rodney G, you're another fucking cult disciple that I've seen splashing all over the comment section. Go away and learn how to play your guitar properly. Make some good tunes, right? Mind your own fucking business. If you get nothing to contribute, fuck off. Maggie M, Anders Ace, Andrew Canavan, Tony Dixon. Tell people about Flat Earth on a one-to-one basis because it's a big deal. It is life-changing, so tact is needed. Spot on, Tony Dixon. 100% agree. I know that because I'm a person that's went through it, and the emotional turmoil and psychological turmoil. It's not an easy thing to deal with. So we have to be compassionate and caring about how we're affecting, you know, the unwitting populace that don't have any idea that this is even a question. A wee second. Oops, missed it. Transcendent theory. Inside you know we are eternal, but who wants to live in a delusion eternally? No me. Certainly not me. It's time to leave this system of control. Exactly. 100% agree. So regardless of, you know, whether, you know, I have an eternal consciousness or soul or awareness that lives on eternally, you know, again, subjectively, I would like that to be true. And I hope it's true, and I have an inclination that it is true based on my subjective experiences. You know, I can say that, but it's subjective. I'm not claiming it as an objective truth. But, you know, either way, I don't think anybody can really dispute that we are part of eternity, because there can't be a beginning and an end. A beginning and an end must be taking place somewhere. Hello. Hello.
Gail.
Who's this?
Gail, it's Dylan.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Bruv, are you following, what do you think about QAnon? Have you heard about that?
Who?
Q.
Well, I don't really follow anybody. I'm not sure what that's about.
Oh, well, you know what I mean? It's a big thing going on now, you know, like with regards to, you know, the political thing, what's going down in America and everything.
Right.
But it's also got to do with flat Earth, bruv. It really has.
Right. Yeah, you need to point me towards something. As I say, I don't really pay much attention. I don't watch TV. You know, I don't really watch a lot on YouTube either. So I'm not up to speed on what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's not on TV, bruv. I don't watch TV. I ain't even got one.
Right, good on you. Oh,
But, no, it's on the internet, right? You got to look up QAnon Hub, the website. I can't post it because I'm not.
I've just typed it in. I've got stuff here. I'll save it and I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out, mate. Honestly, because it's really happening, and you know the things is this dude keep posting. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a laugh" and all this, but
yeah.
I don't think it is. Even if it is a laugh, this dude is whatever he's doing or he or she is doing. You know, they're posting a lot of stuff, and it's relevant.
Yeah.
And it's linking a lot of stuff that's going on with regards to the deep state, and it's really relevant. And swear to God, it has got to do with flat Earth, man. It's all to do with the truth.
Cool.
That means because it's all coming out now.
Cool. I'll check it out. Cheers for putting me in that direction. I'll have a wee look at it.
Yeah, do so, Dale, because you know what I mean. I'm sure you'll find it really interesting.
Nice one.
All right, mate. Love
Cheers.
you. I love what you do. Keep at it.
Cheers for that. Appreciate it.
God bless, brother.
Take it easy.
And peace. Take it easy.
Hey, Dale, Paul and Johnson here, hidden in plain sight in chat. Keep up a good work. Just wee message to say hello. Cheers. Cheers, Paul. Cheers, my man. Right. There was I saw the eternal thing. I mean, I don't think anybody can really escape that, you know, regardless of whether we have an eternal aspect to us. I think, you know, we are part of eternity. You know, I can't even, you know, imagine right now what that is. But, you know, as soon as anybody invokes a beginning and an end, it has to be taking place somewhere. So you're then back to the somewhere, must be somewhere, and it keeps going, it keeps going. There's no way for me to escape it. You know, I've tried, you know, finite ideas, it just doesn't hold up. So, you know, again, for me, my subjective experience tells me there is more to me than to people. You know, maybe it's just wishful thinking. Who knows? We'll find out. Good times for all. After I tell someone for the first time, I let the seed grow for a bit before ever breaching the subject again. Exactly. And usually you find that, again, it comes back to that. If people have that voice, if the right thing's said to them, you know, it will get in there. And I've seen it time and time again, where they may be angry, they may be, you know, dismissive at first, but before you know it, you're hearing of them, maybe not coming to you, but speaking to somebody else about it, and it starts to annoy them because there is an honesty inside. And sometimes when that's triggered, people just find it difficult to escape. You know, it would take a real effort from me, if even possible, to get back into a world and a life of delusional, you know, thinking and behaviour, because that voice is too strong. I just wouldn't allow me to go there. So that's the same for me. So good tactic, Zach. And I appreciate your contributions, and you know, and the great switcheroo as well. Shit, things jumping again. Colshy Cats, how you doing, man? Ute, Jordan Davies, comes to a point where people just don't want to listen, and you have to move on to helping other people's. Well, aye, helping can be a funny word. Just planting the seed, you know, I suppose it is helping if they get a wee sense of awareness and start to question it. So, nice one, mate. Anyway, people, it's been a pleasure as always. I will be back on Saturday. Hopefully some of the people that I shouted out will be in touch, and I'll have them on Saturday. So take it easy, everybody. And again, you know, I'll kind of keep reiterating these things. Always open to resolve, always willing. Let's see if anybody else is, right? It's not about persons, it's not about idolising, it's not about hierarchy. It's about understanding and resolving and talking things out. Never being, you know, discouraged from questioning. And anybody that is discouraging questioning and ridiculing you for questioning, there's an issue with them, not with you. So fuck them. Okay? Take it easy, people.